Welcome to another episode of It's a Long Road, the Rambo series podcast. I am your host, Ryan, and this is season 4. We're covering the 4th Rambo film titled Rambo or John Rambo, depending on which version you're watching. We are watching the John Rambo version. With me today, of course, is Dom, my co-host, and we have a special returning guest co-host, Nikki. Nikki from Beat the Cult podcast. How you doing?
Hi, Ryan. Thanks for having me back.
Well, it's great to have you back. Yeah, you were great. You did, I think it was the first episode of season 3, I believe was your episode.
Yes. Yeah. When we watched him walk in and do the stick fighting and all that.
That's right. Now, I don't think what we're covering today is part of your favorite moments of Rambo 4. You mentioned the throat ripping scene. Well, why didn't you speak to it? Just tell us right now why you like that scene.
Because he's aggressive.
Oh, okay. All right.
Nothing more aggressive than ripping out somebody's throat.
That's for sure. Just speak briefly again of who you are and the podcast you run and your fandom of Sly.
I actually run kind of an atheist agnostic podcast and Twitter page called Beat the Cult. We'll see how long Twitter lasts now that Elon Musk is kind of running rampant. I haven't posted in a couple of months. Things have been a little bit wild, but I basically just do videos criticizing religion. Ryan was on my podcast. It was really fun. They told a story, and that's kind of the theme, as I want people to see that very sensible, intelligent people leave religion after being involved for so long and that they still have their wits about them. So it was really great having you on. And I want to, I'm going to continue the podcast as time progresses and things calm down a bit. I'm a pretty big Sly fan. I didn't really start... I was raised watching Rocky with my dad. That's one of the two things we enjoy together is football and Stallone. So we both love Stallone, but I grew up watching him, but I didn't really start paying attention to Stallone until about 2 years ago when I was super big. I was 345 pounds and lost a bunch of weight. And then I started watching Rocky 4 one day. And was God, you work so hard. And I really respect work ethic for the first time in my life now. And I started kind of looking into his history. And he's very impressive. He's a very hardworking, impressive person. So I kind of fell into it. And then I went through every single movie he's ever made. Started watching, the Rambo thing. And he's great.
Well, that's awesome. I love your story. And you did mention, if you haven't seen Nikki and want to hear more of the story of her sly growth, we talked more about that on Season 3, Episode 1, when Nikki guest co-host on that. That was when I was doing the rotating guest host for every episode. Not that I got tired of doing that, because I enjoyed doing that, but it became tiring to find a new co-host every week, because it's I'm just grabbing people from their lives randomly. Dom stepped in as the permanent guest co-host, or permanent co-host, I should say. But this is great. We're having a third chair, which I think we'll do. I think we got somebody else lined up already for another returning co-host duties. So we like those who enjoy the show still, who might. But this way, if you were a guest co-host, you still listen, and you want to join, like Nikki said, hey, get me back on there again. I'll get you back on again. That's not a problem at all. Okay, Nikki, what's your background with Frank Stallone?
Oh gosh, World's Dumbest is the most I can. That's the first time I watched Rocky 3 with my dad growing up, but I didn't know that was him singing in the
hotel lobby. It's him,
hotel lobby scene. But I didn't even know. I knew Stallone had a brother, but the only time.
Whatever you felt about Sylvester Stallone, the polar opposite.
I was this guy's not appealing at all. I still don't know his deal.
That's perfect that you say you don't know his deal. That's exactly what Dom and I are trying to do. We have a segment on our show called. That's perfect that you don't know much about him, because we're trying to educate the masses on our large, huge podcast. We try to tell the world who Frank Stallone is, because I think his voice needs to be heard. So we're going to start that segment now. There's another episode of Frank Stallone. Who is this guy?
And here's another segment of Frank Stallone. Who is this guy?
Why is he wearing glasses?
Oh, Nikki, boy, we have a lot of catching up to do.
That question sums up everything. Exactly, Nikki.
It's unneeded.
Well, the Frankster wears shades. That's his thing. He wears shades. He wears shades wherever he goes. Yeah. For our listeners who do just the audio only of our show, Frank is now doing biceps, and we're led to believe bicep. Now we're led to. we're led to believe he's mid. What do you think, Dom? Like
his count, he's probably up to like 112 right now.
That's right. We all know this is not. This is like 7 in. They did it
exactly.
That's generous, probably.
This is my most stubborn muscle, my biceps. My brother and I both have shorter biceps. So
what does that mean, Dom? Shorter biceps?
I have no idea. I gotta find that information out because I'm confused.
Well, I know Italians are sometimes not as tall as your other European counterparts. So does that include the biceps are also shorter?
I mean, let me look at my arms real quick. I mean, they're not very long. I don't have a big reach. No.
I have a picture of Rocky 3 like above my desk, and I'm looking at it. I'm like, what does that mean? Shorter biceps.
Long triceps, short biceps. Yep.
Short biceps.
Trans biceps.
There you go. Dude, did you catch that? He's explaining that his biceps are trans. I'm just trying to get the correlation. He's talking
trans.
Trans biceps.
Let me go back a bit. He's talking about his triceps.
Long
and
triceps, short biceps.
Yep. So he's got long triceps and short biceps. So he has
trans biceps.
That's how that video ends. That was on his Instagram. What does a trans bicep mean there, Dom? Do you have any idea?
No idea.
But he thought he was clever. Do you see? He smiled at the end.
Yeah, he smiled about it. It made sense in his brain, but that's Frank Stallone brain. So
no brain at all.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I think he's trying to say that his biceps. He wants them to transition, like the triceps, to be longer, to be bigger.
That's what he's saying, maybe.
I think so. So I think he's trying to tag into. Of course, this was filmed in June during a lot of the Pride Month, and then some of the controversy that people have with this. So I think he's trying to throw a little bit of spice, a little bit of pepper into his Instagram there. Okay, here's the next video. Nice sitting on a park bench or outside somewhere.
Hello, it is Tuesday, Gold's Day. Worked arms, feeling really good. Voice is coming back.
Dom, his voice is coming back.
I'm glad because you need his singing voice. You need Frank Stallone's singing voice.
So yeah, Nikki, in the last 3 episodes of Frank Stallone, who is this guy? He has mentioned probably almost every video that his voice has either been lost or coming back due to the Chinese COVID. So he's mentioned that.
Oh, that might be why his nieces did not want him on them. Wait, how long ago was this?
Well, this Instagram videos right now are a week or 2 ago at the most.
Did he have the vid a week ago?
Well, he was sick. He never officially has verbalized that he was on the vid, but in his comment section when he writes on his videos, he talks about the China COVID and thank you to China for being sick. So voice has been hindered.
Doing us all a favor.
Well, no, yeah.
Tomorrow night, the Family Stallone Paramount Plus,
12 o'clock.
MTV and CMT. Stay well, stay healthy, and stay out of those crappy chemtrails. Say it.
Okay. Oh, I love Frank. So, first video he mentions
like QAnon or something.
Yeah, the first video he mentions the transitioning muscles. Now in this video, he pointed to the sky and said, "Stay out of the chemtrails."
Oh gosh. Okay, so is he going a little bit in the mind, or is he? Because he's 4 years younger than him.
4 years younger than Sly, is that right? So he's 69 right now?
I think so, yeah.
Or
Stallone
71.
is 77 as of
July, isn't it?
In 4 days.
Is it that soon? Oh, he's 77 in 4 days? Oh, wow. Oh, good for him. So, so Frank is the Frankster is 72 or 3 or something. Okay.
He's 72.
Well, here we are, Tuesday in sunny Southern California. Had a good workout.
Why is he standing like that?
Well, because he's a tough guy. I love how he can never find anywhere quiet to do his videos.
Never. That's one consistent. Nikki in all his videos, there's just talking. He finds noise in this place.
There's a lot of ambient noise. Who is filming him? Who is the unlucky, unpleasant task of following?
We don't know.
Around?
We want to know. Let us know in the comments, people. Who is this camera guy? We talked about that on episode 3 of Frank. Who is this guy? We speculated this is like the worst job in Hollywood. This guy falls Frank around with a cell phone and basically captures these special moments. But we hear his voice. I dare say he doesn't sound Birthplace USA. I don't know.
Do you think he's paying somebody, or it's just like a one of like Frank Stallone's lackeys that follows him around? And maybe
it's a lackey for sure. He's probably on Frank's payroll to a degree. Like Frank's a millionaire. At the very least, he probably could pay this guy Eduardo. He could pay him like $55,000 a year. You know, who knows?
Pretty decent to follow.
I might take that job, honestly. You're
I was going to say part time. I mean, the only benefit is that you get to meet his brother. So
right.
The only benefit.
Who is Frank's cameraman? That should be episode 1 of Who is Frank's cameraman. Every now we get to hear his voice. He'll say stuff like Frankster or Frank's back. He'll do like hype. He'll do some hype comments.
It's like a hype man.
Especially while he's working out, he'll be like counting the sets and stuff.
Jeez.
Yeah, we heard his voice the very first video. We heard his voice do a couple count. Yeah. So welcome those join us live right now. We got Tim, we got Alistair, we got Pissy Troutman is in the chat too. So
nice, Pissy Troutman.
Yeah, we know who that is. I know who that is. You.
They did calves. We did glutes, which are very important, folks. The glutes are the largest muscle in your body.
So he said glutes are the largest muscle in your body, and I did Google that just to double check the Frankster, and he's right.
He is right?
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, even a broken clock's right twice a day.
There we go.
We're the least worked out. But if you get good glutes, it strengthens everything. You look good in clothes. You don't want your ass looking like a pillowcase full of kittens running for the river.
You don't want your butt looking like a pillowcase full of... He said cattens, by the way, not kittens. He combined kittens and cats together. Cattens. Does everyone know what a catten is? We mentioned, too, the background noise. Let's record right next to the excavator working behind the camera.
Is that a bulldozer behind him?
It's like something's getting towed.
Pillowcase full of...
There we go.
Glutes, it strengthens everything. You look good in clothes. You don't want your ass looking like a pillowcase full of kittens running for the river. So you got to work on your
dumpster.
Work on your calves. You got to work on everything. Really, that's all a work in progress.
He's saying you got to work on your glutes because you don't want to have a butt that jiggles. Now
you don't want a pillow
unless
full
you're
of
a woman.
So you don't want your butt looking like a pillowcase full of kittens. Yeah, nothing worse.
He likes
than
to really give his opinions on bodies and women's bodies. And last episode he was talking about women having fat back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He called it fat.
Yeah, fat back. He said, "Girls, you don't want fat back."
He's not the best looking guy. He's like,
how dare you?
He's so critical of others. I mean, I appreciate that he, does his best to maybe stay in shape at his age, and you can't do much about your middle when you get a certain age. I mean, his brother. Right. He's 77, so...
No, yeah, we all age. Everyone ages except for the Stallones. I mean, look at their mom. She looked 34 the day she died.
Jackie?
Yeah.
Yeah, she looked not a day over 106. She looked...
Jackie.
No, we got to be careful. We can't get banned from another forum.
I heard that you got banned.
We're going to double down on everything.
I'm going to get banned from my own Facebook page.
Running for the river. So you got to work on your glutes. You got to work on your calves. You got to work on everything, really. That's all a work in progress. But remember, after 12 tonight, you can tune in to the Family Stallone. I don't know if I'm in it or not. I don't have a crystal ball. But we'll start the next season in July. And
oh gosh,
surprises coming up. Have a great.
There's another season.
Yes, season 2 has been greenlit on Paramount Plus. We're getting the second season of the Family Stallone, and I love how he says, "I don't know if I'm in it." Newsflash for you, Frank: when Paramount Plus approached Sly to have them as a reality family on their programming, you were just a happy part of the mixture. You were not the reason why they were approached. I love how he's telling his fan base, "I don't know if I'm on it, guys, but you might have to suffer that episode without me."
Goodness.
He does have some great...
Strong word.
I have a theory here. You know how Frank has basically hitched his wagon to Sly's fandom?
Yes.
Sly's life? Okay.
Yeah.
I think there are Frank sycophants who have hitched their fandom to Frank, hoping that somehow they'll get it in with Sly being a fan of Frank.
Oh, absolutely.
I can imagine that. I don't know how it would be lucrative, but I can imagine that.
Hey, Frank and I have an online relationship. We're kind of friends now, and that's exactly... So this cameraman, for example, because you mentioned that, Nikki, he probably gets to meet Sly because he follows Frank around.
Right.
So there's people who are fans of Frank. Right. You get the point.
Yet again, that job sounds it's starting to sound better and better. I'm just going to go follow Stallone around, maybe hang out with Sylvester Stallone for 10 minutes.
Love to meet Sylvester Stallone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, of course. Well, we never will now.
Probably go to prison, but I'd meet him. So.
Imagine an alternate universe here. This is a food for thought. Let's just pretend Sly never existed, right? This doesn't exist, and Frank was born. So Sly died in the womb, and then Frank was born.
Yeah.
Well, number one, we wouldn't be doing this podcast. And number two, would Frank have a fan base? Would he be a successful star in any way, shape, or form? Would he have any shows at the Hard Rock Cafe? Anything?
No.
Absolutely not.
Oh, man. That's not a slight on Frank so much as just the reality of life.
Of course.
Well, any doors that got open for Frank were because of Sly. That's what it comes down to.
And he's still just Frank Stallone.
Exactly.
Yeah, just Frank Stallone.
Well, happy Father's Day to everybody.
Cowboy hat, yes.
I'm at the range.
That hat
Not my
doesn't look
best
great.
shooting, but I had a lot of fun. It's
so of course he's doing another video outside. Is outside in nature? Sure, it's outside nature. There's no machinery around.
Right?
Let's go to a shooting range.
That hat doesn't look right at all.
starting to
like
walk. It takes a little bit of time. Sometimes you shoot a good round, sometimes you don't, but that's life. But it's a beautiful day out here, and wishing again everyone a happy Father's Day, and hope to see you soon. My voice is coming back.
Dom, his voice is coming back.
Good. I'm glad I didn't know.
Everything's coming back. I'm off.
Everything's coming back. Okay, what's
very cryptic? What does that mean?
I don't know.
Pregnant zone now. It's time to get busy.
He said he's off the prednisone.
Prednisone. It's a steroid.
Now.
Designed to reduce inflammation.
Hope to see you soon. My voice is coming back. Everything's coming back. I'm off the prednisone now. It's time to get busy and get outside, get some vitamin D. Really happy about that. So have a blessed Sunday and have a good day. And may the good Lord take a liking to you. Goodbye.
There's no way in hell he's religious. I swear. I love how Stallone's supposed to be religious too, but he's the worst.
They do. You're right, Nikki. They do come across as So it's a Sunday. He's at the shooting range instead of church. Praying to the Lord. He's like, have a blessed day, and he says, "May the good Lord take a liking to you." I didn't realize the Lord had stipulations on liking me.
He has preferences for liking certain people.
I love Frank. So there you go.
That concludes another episode of Frank Stallone. Who is this guy?
Not too bad. His voice is coming back in 2 videos. He said that. He also mentioned his muscles are transitioning. Little trans joke. And the chemtrail talk. So a typical week for Frank Stallone.
Normal day.
All right. I do have a quick email here I would like to read. This is from Jeff. He said, "Hi, Ryan. Guys, I've been listening to your It's a Long Road podcast and One More Round podcast for a while now, and I'm enjoying both. I've gotten to ramble through my dad. Look at that. See, Nikki dads, right? Mm-hmm. That's what I've been doing for my family. So I've gotten to ramble through my dad. He took me to go see Last Blood in the theaters when I was 18. So that makes him what now? So he's young too.
21, 22?
Yeah, 22. So listen to this. So Last Blood is his second favorite. And he loved it so much. I've watched the whole series. Yeah, Last Blood is kind of like the Rocky V of the Rambo series. It gets a lot of hate that I don't think is warranted.
No. I agree. I enjoyed it. I think people politicized it and it wasn't necessary. Mm-hmm. I just think the timing was bad. But I don't think it had anything to do with the political landscape at the time.
Well, all the Rambo films have had some sort of nod to real life events. So the fact that they talked about the issues of the drug and the sex trade in Mexico, to say that doesn't exist is actually that's not true either. He goes on to say that my favorite line in the 5th movie is when the human traffickers, spoiler alert here, everyone, spoiler alert if you haven't seen part 5, spoiler. Okay, My favorite line, the fifth one, is when the human traffickers kill Gabriella and Rambo goes back to the journalist and she tells him to move on. And he says, "What if you can't move on?"
Yeah. That's his favorite line.
It's pretty weird.
The whole movie.
Out of everything. What if you can't move on?
Cut you, rip out your heart like you did mine.
Hey, that's great. Okay, that's great though, Jeff. I think that's great. That's what makes a movie special for everyone. So we'll keep our ears out for that, Dom. We'll make sure we give a shout out to Jeff. Goes on to say the Rambo series is what got me interested in the Rocky Creed film. So there you go. So the Rambo brought him to Rocky.
Cool.
That's usually in reverse, isn't it?
Yeah, usually people find Rocky first, especially when you're younger, because the Rocky films are a little bit more family accessible. So a lot of younger people find
not.
So he's over 18 now, so you can watch rated R movies.
You can watch Cobra now
without his dad's
supervision
being there with him. Yeah,
I'm sure you're the same as me and Dom there, Nikki. I watched rated R movies since I was like 5 years old. I
had to like sneak around my parents, but yeah.
Because back in the 80s, man, kids were just kind of like I was watching like Halloween when I was in second grade. Like it's just. So he's watched all those as well. He says, "Well, anyway, I love your podcast, man. Thanks. And I can't wait for season 5. P.S. Here's a good question. Have you all ever seen the intro and or the cutscenes in the Mortal Kombat 11 game for the Rambo character?"
Yeah, I played it.
Oh, you played it?
Yeah. Stallone does the voice in there. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, he does the voice. It's pretty dope.
Oh, you've seen it too, Nikki?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
When I was going through my Stallone obsession period, I was watching everything him. So.
Oh wow!
There's funny interactions too, because then there's the Terminators in it with Arnold as well. So like if they fight, they have like back and forth in the beginning.
Well, I've got some homework to do, I guess, to go on YouTube and watch some of those cutscenes. Yes. Okay. I knew he was a character in it, and I think I did know the slide did some of the voice work, but that must be alternate universe Rambo. There's no way that Rambo and Terminator fought each other.
Yeah, no way.
Those games aren't realistic in the sense of truly Rambo can never beat you can't beat him in that sense. Like hand-to-hand combat or whatever, you can't. But still fun to I'll go look at those cutscenes. Okay, so let's get into the film. On our last episode, we left off Rambo basically dropped off the mercenaries at the rendezvous point. They've told Boatman to stay with the boat. They come across in their journey the mercenaries from the freight boat. They come across the tall boy. Now, the tall boy is that
tomboy.
It's tall, Tall. Yeah. Okay. And it's an undetonated bomb that was dropped in the area during World War II. And this did happen. In fact, I found a news story about a tall boy in Poland that was in the reservoir in the water. That same thing had dropped during that war, World War II in the Poland waters. They tried to disarm it, but in the process of disarming the bomb, they detonated it.
Oh God!
Just leave it.
Okay, yeah. So, what I find fascinating is, believe it or not, the Rambo film, that scene, of course, when Rambo detonates the tall boy and he runs away from it, and the explosion is huge. Granted, it's underwater, but still, you get the idea that they might have exaggerated the explosion in the film Rambo. But maybe people that know bombs better than me could tell me the reason why it was so small, comparatively speaking, in the film in real life is because it's underwater. So I'm going to show this to you guys right now.
Extraordinary pictures coming up right now. So a huge World War II tall boy bomb in Poland has exploded as a team tried to remotely defuse it.
Wow. Still pretty good. Still pretty good, though. What do you think?
This footage was captured the moment that the massive 12,000-pound earthquake bomb, which was known as, unexpectedly detonated, sending out, you can see that huge amount of water.
Right there, you see that shockwave. So had that not been cushioned by the water, I wonder and that is a pretty big area. So maybe, now that I'm analyzing the video a little bit, maybe they gave it a decent portrayal in the film.
Earthquake bomb. Known as
a good quality bomb,
detonated, sending out. You can see that huge.
Not bad for World War II.
It was very well covered by cameras as well, doesn't it? No one, thankfully, was injured in the incident. Military divers were positioned at a safe distance, but the blast from the RAF device dropped in 1945 raid, shook some of the houses in the town nearby.
So they were trying to defuse it, and that's what happened. Quite extraordinary.
Quite unfortunate. Nobody was hurt, I suppose.
Yeah.
Kind of interesting. Now we'll go back to the film here. They're just walking through the forest, and they come across the tall boy here.
Oh, just a side note, real quickly, Ryan.
Yeah.
The tall boy detonation was coupled with the Claymore,
Fair. Okay. So the Claymore would have added a little bit of spunk to it, and it wasn't covered underwater. That's fair. Yeah. We talked about this in the last episode. I got to get this character's name, the English character.
I've seen this movie like literally 50 times and can't remember his name.
Well,
I can't remember anybody else's name.
Well, we got Schoolboy, we've got June, we've got somebody else.
Yes.
Somebody look it up, this guy's name, because he comes up a little bit in this episode. So
right
now I find this odd. He meant or asked the local Burmese guy, like, what is this? I thought this guy was military.
That's a good point. I heard you mention that. Lewis,
okay. So Lewis goes, what the hell is this? Like, dude, it's a bomb. Now, he could have asked, he might have been able to, but he seems to be so perplexed why there might be undischarged weaponry. He has no idea of any of the world wars, anything geographical, past fights. And this guy's like, yeah, this was dropped and not detonated during World War II. Obviously, it was dropped from somewhere.
I'm a garbage man, and I could recognize that that's a bomb.
Drop in World War II.
Of course, a future plot device. They introduced it to the audience now. So more visceral imagery here of.
He does a great job with it.
Slaughtered animals and civilians and a destroyed village.
Taken from here.
Now, he said that your people were taken, so they were here for some time, I guess, the missionaries. We're speculating that they have been in captivity for at least 2 weeks at this time.
Yeah, okay. 2 weeks, yeah.
So the bodies are fairly decomposed. I guess that's about right, because we'll get to see a head on a stick coming up here.
Stallone did a really good job with the imagery. He made it very, as you said, visceral, and he just did a really good job with the movie in general.
Well, we talked about during the village massacre scene, the feel-good scene of the movie.
That was rough.
Funny, we made a comment during the live view and recording of that, like, at least we don't see any kids on a stick. And then I went through the editing.
They threw him into a fire.
There's one kid that was chucked into the fire, yes, but there was another kid literally bayonet. Yeah, I don't know why we missed that. I think we were like half watching it. We were like, "Oh, this."
Yeah, I think we mentally blocked it out.
He did a very good job depicting the realities of war.
Oh, there's the head on the stick. Did you see it?
Yeah, there's a picture of Stallone with the mercenaries. Just all of them with a picture of that.
Oh, really? Okay, I'll see if I can find that online and put that in the episode here.
Yeah.
Thanks for pointing that out, Nikki.
Man, I have seen some.
A better podcaster would have had it ready, but
You gotta dig for pictures like that. Just set pictures with him and them.
I need a head on a stick, and then we're all gonna get around. We're gonna pose with it.
Yep. Did you find it? Because that's what they did. And he's standing in the middle, holding the head or holding the stick, and he's crazy. I love it,
brother. I ain't never seen no shit like this. Armies come, kill everything, leave our dead here, as warning. Ta. K Luda. KK.
So he tells his son to go home. He's seen enough. Yeah, I think that's enough.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Yeah, you should leave.
Why was the kid even there? He just went for a father or son.
He was like, "Oh, I'm going to show you some dead bodies."
He's a tracker, but he didn't do anything in this that we've seen that he had to be here for any of this right now. Now you just send him home, like, yeah.
After he gave him nightmare fuel, like, you could go home now.
Hey, Todd, what did you do today? Well, I took a bunch of armed men to a massacre and saw, decomposing headless bodies.
Mine everywhere.
Now he mentioned that there's mines everywhere, and he goes, "Watch your step," but watch how they walk. There's no way they would.
It's indiscriminate.
Yes, that's a perfect word.
Watch where you're walking.
He runs up the hill.
Yeah, like he runs.
You like the flies on that, Dom?
Yeah, I like the added effect.
Well done.
You smell it. You could almost smell it. Like, really?
Yeah. Did a very good job.
And you got an open head wound here. Look at that open head wound.
Very good job. Yeah.
All right, let's move on. To what?
Now, the guy that said to what, he's actually in a TV show that I watched that got recently canceled. It's kind of a guilty pleasure. The remake of Magnum P.I.
Oh, okay.
He's the cop.
Else I can't remember.
Oh, he's been in a few things, yeah. But it was just weird because I've been watching Magnum P.I. for like last 3 to 5 years. And I hadn't really watched Rambo 4, I guess, during that time. Because when I watched this for the podcast, like, oh, that's the dude from the TV show. Now I have to do some digging for our next episode. Remind me, Dom, on this actor here who plays Schoolboy. His name is Matthew Marsden. I think he might have a controversial Twitter.
Really?
I think
what
so.
Did he do?
So I don't know, but I'll do some digging.
Like religious or something?
I think he's just, I think he might be a little bit, I don't know. I don't want to say too much because I'm going to see if I can interview him.
Is it Frank Stallone controversial? Or?
No.
Interview Marston?
They can kill the fucking dogs. Those people are dead.
I'm with Enju.
We at least have to go and have a look-see. Check it out.
I'm with you. Let's check it out.
Check what? They're 100 strong.
Hey, we took the man's money.
Schoolboy's right. We took the money. We got to at least take a look to see where the missionaries are. They may be dumped somewhere. There might be bodies. We have to have some sort of closure on this. But I don't know why the guy gets mad when after Schoolboy says that. He goes, we took the man's money, and he's about to react angrily to that statement.
Hey, just calm down. We go there, and we see what's what. If anything's wrong, anything at all, we leave.
Now, if anything's wrong, anything at all, we'll leave. Yeah, they're kidnapped. That's
wrong.
That's something wrong, right? Like, not very strong dialogue. It should be, if there's a way we can get them out, we'll get them out.
Right.
Which way?
This way. Ami, go!
Terrorist army has come back to the location where they've already destroyed the village and killed people, but they've come back with more civilians. Do we know why what the purpose, other than is it just games again for them?
I think it's just games of blowing up the people again. Right?
Is this their favorite mind game spot?
Yeah. Run and blow them up, throw mines in the water.
I'm gonna fire on them.
No. They don't make it back from wherever the hell they came from, man. They are onto us.
So they're making bets of who will or won't survive, I guess. It doesn't indicate what it is. They said, I got the one on the right, I got the one in the end. So the soldiers are making bets. Which one do you have, Dom? Which one do you?
I got the one with the hat.
Okay. That he's going to blow up or not blow up?
That he's going to blow up.
Okay, yeah. So they're not going to fire on him. Oh, yeah, there you go. There's one there. I'd be like, hey, I see where they're chucking it. I'm just going to move around that area. They should have their prisoners. Their prisoners should have had their backs turned because they're kind of showing where they're chucking the mines.
Right.
3 down there.
What the fuck are they doing, man?
One more shot of that head.
So they've got the civilians captured. They're on the ground. Of course, I forget the character's name. That's the local. He's seen this and he's really upset because these are his people. Maybe he doesn't know them personally, but these are his civilians. These are the freedom people and
Karen's fighters.
That's right. And now they're captured and he knows the game. He knows exactly what the game is. He's seen this and heard of this before, and he's about to watch it live. So those guys are running across the water. I am a little confused by the game because I think they all make it across without blowing up, and they get to the ledge. Is it they just try to get them back in the water at the end?
They're trying to get them to run back after.
Oh, I see. Just keep going back and forth. I see. Louise is back, and Pissy Troutman left the chat, so that's weird. Louise goes by Pop Lord. He goes, I prefer gambling with stick fighting. I agree. I think that's a little less carnage. Made it across. Look at the one guy from before there lying on the bank.
They did such a good job with the.
Is that a real person or a mannequin there?
I've been trying to figure that out too, and they did such a good job with like the rigor, and they did a great job.
They did. Yeah, it's time to go back. You guys have to go back. Our game's not over yet. See, they could have easily shot them, but they didn't. They're torching them mentally. just shooting around them to force them back. They want to watch them blow up. So the tension's building. I love this moment here. Of course, we're going to play it out a little bit because we'll play it out for the YouTube, but then I'll explain audibly what happens, of course, for our audio listeners. Again, the shot. Start running in the water, guys. Start running. Okay,
he does not miss.
He does not miss at all. So Rambo got all 4 or 5 soldiers with his bow and arrow, and that's the way to kill them too, because there's no alerting anyone else around the area of extra gunfire. The civilians.
That's what he said in Rambo 2 when he's talking to Ko. He said it makes no sound.
That's right. That's right. Alistair says that's the best part of the film. It is a wonderful part of the film, and I agree because now we did see the boat scene, of course, when he shoots the pirates. That's a great little Rambo killing moment there too, because that was the first one he does in that. But I agree with Alistair. This is it's in the discussion with the best parts of the film. This is what he feels the best. You're right. It's that proper. It does feel like old school Rambo to a degree. It feels like Rambo 2 and 3. It has that feeling of Rambo coming in like the superhero that he is, comes in, takes care of business. The odds are against the innocent, and Rambo comes in. It's a superhero moment. Love it. So the civilians run away. Good. They're safe for now. I love how, for good measure, the guy that got 2 arrows through him lands on a mine.
Right. Just in case he's not dead.
Rambo just kills everyone here, right? And then he just kind of like saunters out of the forest, and they all run to him. This is the way they go to him. Like, who is this guy? It's like this godlike.
He ain't just a boat guy. He ain't just a boat guy.
Who are you, boatman? Where'd you learn to kill like that?
This version is so much better. The director's cut.
In what way? What do you feel? Why do you say that?
Because that scene, that question, where'd you learn to kill like that? He didn't ask that in the original one. He just asked you, who are you? Where'd you learn to kill like that is just a much better question, I think.
This also answers the question that Dom and I had at the beginning of the season is how much does Lewis know about Rambo? We talked about it during the boat ride. Now we know he doesn't know. He only thinks he's a boatman that catches snakes. So the intel on Rambo is nil with this guy, which now that we know more about Lewis, I'm not surprised. He didn't even know what a bomb was. So
right.
And he doesn't understand that humans live in the wilderness other than like he's so weirdly uninformed about how the world operates for someone who's supposed to be a trained mercenary.
Exactly.
Let's move.
They're gonna come hunting our asses down when these guys don't show up. I got people to live for, man. We don't need this shit. We're going back to the boat.
Maybe we'll just talk about it right now. So Rambo's about to say, no, you're not going to go back to the boat. Why does he force Lewis to stay?
Some extra hands, I guess.
That might be the only thing, because now he's thinking of Sarah, the blonde-haired missionary, because he's on a rescue mission. Now, Rambo's involved. He's all in, okay? So that was the only thing I could think of too, Dom, was that the reason why he kind of forces everyone to stay is because you ain't going anywhere. There's innocents. We're like, right. We're not leaving a soldier behind. Right now, the missionaries are like soldiers without weapons. Yes. This mission is not over.
Right.
Any way he's going to coerce these people to stay, he's going to say. You're right, Alistair. The actor who plays Lewis is pretty Ricky Collins' handler in Creed, the first film. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, it's the same guy, same actor.
Oh, it is. Oh my gosh.
I never even realized that.
What is that?
We didn't mention that yet in this season, but that's absolutely true. So it's good as time as any to mention that. So good actor, and he'd be somebody that I think would be fun to reach out with. Obviously, he's got a good working relationship with Sly because both Sly projects he's in, there has to be some sort of connection. Oh yeah, I'll work with Sly type thing. Mm-hmm. And then Louise said, "Isn't Lewis? Sorry, this is Louise saying, isn't Lewis SAS? The Brits really dropped the ball on their training. What is SAS against? Some sort of special forces, probably. A better podcast would have that ready. But. Okay, so here we go.
Special Air Service.
What's it called?
Special Air Service.
Okay, so they're probably like
Rangers, maybe
the Navy SEALs of the Air Force for the British type thing. So they're special forces air guys. So. You would think this guy's been around the world and done stuff. It's odd that he's especially if he's air service. He doesn't know what a bomb drop from from an English plane, no less. English. His people dropped that weapon.
Right. Oh, good point. They did.
Wow.
No, you're not. What did you say? I don't give a fuck who you are. You say another word and I swear on my kids' eyes I'll kill you.
So aggressive. I love it.
He says, I'm going to kill you if you say another word. Now, obviously, I think he's saying that out of fear, too. But I love it. Rambo does certainly say another word, but before he talks, he makes sure he's he's got himself covered before he starts talking.
Yeah, Rambo's pretty intense.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Good use of the what do you call this? When the camera, it's either a CGI tip on the arrow, or when you do that, you can do the filming where it looks like they're in front of each other, but they're actually behind.
Right.
But still, I think it's a CGI tip and or prop, obviously, like it's a styrofoam, and there's no tension on the boat. But a cool scene. I mean, I'm just overthinking the
right.
Because obviously, safety of the actor. There's no way there's a compound bow in front of your face.
Put Sylvester Stallone holding it, but then again, didn't he forge his own knife? So you never.
I did not know he did that. He is amazing. I just did not know he could. He's so multi-talented.
Look at his wrist here, the religious cross there. Now, is that what he took from Sarah?
That's what she gave to him.
Yes.
Yeah, so he's wearing it on his wrist. Did you ever catch that before? That he's wearing it on his wrist now?
I noticed that.
He was wearing it the whole time, even when he sliced that guy in half. He's been wearing it when he ripped the man's throat.
Did you know that he was wearing the cross? He was wearing it on his wrist?
Yeah.
Okay.
The whole time.
How religious do you think Stallone is? Because we talked about it in our Rocky podcast during the second Rocky film. The character is like ultra religious. What's your theory on his actual?
We should ask his mistresses how religious he is.
Okay, fair enough. How dare you? Sly's never stepped out on his wife.
Never. Never, ever. Yeah.
You're not going anywhere. And there isn't one of us that doesn't want to be someplace else. But this is what we do. Who we are.
See, now that's what I mean. He's fully in. He's saying, of course, I'd rather be somewhere else, but this is what we do. This is who we are. We can't change who we are, Adrian.
Change who we are. I'm afraid. All right? You want me to say I'm afraid?
I love how we've come full circle from the Rambo Part 2, where Troutman's trying to tell him. Remember, Troutman told him.
Right.
That's the third one, I think.
Oh, yeah, it was the third film. Sorry, when he talked to him in the monastery. My bad. That's right. Where he was telling him, like, you're a killer. You'll never not be one. Remember? Because we thought that was a terrible dialogue from Troutman. Yeah. He was right. But because Rambo's trying to live a life of peace with the Buddhists and build their temples and stuff. And Troutman's like, you're a killer. It's who you are. And now Rambo's like, that's right. I am a killer. That's who we are.
Troutman was right.
He was right all along.
Live for nothing or die for something.
See that little look he gave after he gave that big little tagline speech there? He looked to the right a little bit like, you guys like that one? That's pretty good, right?
I think I came up with that one myself.
Or something.
Like, let's go back again. I just want to watch that. He looks to his right a little bit. You like that? That was good, right?
This is what we do. Who we are. Live for nothing or die for something.
You see that? And then I love the mercenaries' responses. They're like, yeah, that's good. I like that. I'm going to put that in our back pocket. And they all like, I think we're going to follow this guy now. See, watch. Yeah, that was good. That was good. Not bad.
Either that or they think he's going to kill them all if they don't go along with it.
Probably would.
Then he pulls the bow back a little bit more and says, your call. So he's really making a point here. Like, and he also knows that the guys won't shoot him because if they shoot him, he loses his grip on the compound bow and the arrow goes. Yeah.
Good point.
So he asks him, do you know where the compound is? Yep.
Yeah. Let's move.
That's different from the original because Mars didn't ask him, what's your call? And he's like, let's move in the other version. So.
Oh wow, we should have Nikki on. Boy, she seems like she's a better podcaster than we are regarding this. We're like Dominick, we don't know the original very well.
I haven't watched this movie in 5 years.
Really? Oh my god, I've watched this movie so many times in the past year. Both versions.
Good. Yeah. Well, we'll probably have you on again. This is Sly's
version. This is his.
That's right. We made that call. We were like, because we are the number one Rambo podcast in the world. we decided to let's do the proper director's cut version. If you're going to do it, you might as well do Sly's version.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
And I believe this is the scene where we get to see what these guys do at the camp for fun. Is that what we see here?
Yeah, wasting time.
So they're all okay. So we're at the Burmese camp, soldiers camp, and the half the soldiers are shirtless and or maybe naked, but they're all shirtless. They're watching this lady dance. I guess
there's 4 of them.
Oh, is there 4 of them?
And they're just swaying in the weirdest way. That's not. No twerking in Burma.
No, they seem to be a little bit. I'm surprised they haven't made Sarah dance yet. Like we talked about this.
They know white women can dance.
That's true. How dare you? Well, you're right.
But I actually can't dance either. Weirdly enough, it's not even.
Can you sing? Mm-mm. Oh, what is wrong with you? No. All right. I think we're led to believe that Sarah truly hasn't been tainted yet by the men. I don't think she has. I don't know how that's possible, but I don't know if it's ever. Do you remember? Did they indicate that she might have been Nikki? Your viewing experience might tell us.
So in reality, because originally when he said they would have raped her 50 times and cut your heads off,
they would have ripped her 50 times and cut your fucking heads off.
Sorry, that's my favorite line of this.
Yeah, that's. Yeah, take that, Alistair. That's the best line for part 4. Or those Jeff. Sorry for the email, Jeff.
Yes, yeah.
You kind of made a point in the first one about the white woman being raped. I think that is like a taboo to portray in especially a movie like this, and I think it's taboo to really portray in general, because let me not. But certain people are very prized. So, even though in reality she would have been raped, I don't think Stallone would depict that.
They would have filmed it, but they didn't even indicate any kind of trauma. Like I said, her clothes aren't ripped. She's not just a brassiere type thing, or
he wouldn't even indicate it. And I thought of that myself, the several times I've seen this. I was like, was the implication that she was going to be the first time, and that's when he showed up to stop it.
You know what's funny? So when Rambo gets there, he's like. So when Rambo gets there, he should have had him so did they rape you 50?
How many times did they do it?
Well, I'll be damned.
I was pretty sure that they were going to do it by now.
Yeah, it loses a little bit the believability there.
It does.
Oh, that's funny.
They wouldn't have just had her just sitting there, even if they were torturing her or something.
She wouldn't have made it a night in the camp.
Oh, definitely
no.
Definitely not.
She'd
I
be
agree.
Dead. So she's still down there looking around. The soldiers walking around. She's in captivity. That's the main bad dude.
Oh my God, Stallone does not play with him. That's so crazy.
One schoolboy's on the tower. We got 15 minutes. Set your watches to 1:45. In, out, no waiting around for nobody. We meet at the base of the tower. All set?
Yeah.
Set.
Okay, so interesting. Rambo lets him kind of lead his troops a little bit there.
I noticed that. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And he's fine with that. I guess for him, he's all business. He doesn't take anything personally. If this plan works or this is a good plan, I will do it. That's fine. Let's go. Yeah. And he also knows these men will still follow the other guy too. He's not necessarily there to lead. He's also there just to fight too. And that's why he probably wanted Lewis to stay. He knew that he was the leader of these guys. That if he left, he would have lost probably more than just Lewis. We got Schoolboy, of course, setting up his position with that probably the largest sniper rifle they could have. They dressed up their tour guide as to look like a soldier. Is that what they did there?
That's not the tour guide.
Who is that?
I don't know. That is so weird. Like I don't know who that guy is. I've been trying to figure that out.
Is that not the tour guide?
No, the tour guide's much younger than that guy. So odd.
So Schoolboy's on the tower. He's going to assassinate, I guess, one of the guards so he can have a shot. He can have the higher ground. Is I think what's happening here.
That is not the tour guide.
So they let the truck in.
Wait, did we say tour guide?
I say tour guide. I meant to say like
on a tour.
Yeah, I forgot his name. The character's name.
Tour in hell.
Did we miss why they're in the back of the truck, or how they got this truck, or whose truck this is?
It was the army truck. It was one of the trucks that they drove up when they were tour trainers.
Right. They drove up. They killed it. Okay, thank you. Well, I totally forgot that they drove up in that truck to kill everyone, so now they have access to the truck. But are you sure they didn't just dress him up then? Well, because who's driving the truck?
That's not the same guy.
It has to be. I think it is. It's just because his hair is in a hat. His hair is in a hat.
They have completely different facial features. Like, completely different.
There's no way they're the enemy. It is him, yeah, because Randy's like, okay, good. But he does look oddly different, but it's not an enemy driver. They're all hopping out now. Get their positions in the camp. Okay, there's the four of them. Okay. I love how excited the men are getting. Like, it's like, yeah. Yeah, it's just so excited. This is the crowd.
That doesn't make sense because they have females tied. They have females like caged. So why would you only have 4 of them when you could have more of them?
Could be the appetizer. I don't know, build up. Like the worst striptease show ever.
That was a great barrel roll. He just did.
Yeah, that was Sly doing that.
Like 60 years old in that.
Yeah, how old is he in this one? He would have been
61, I think.
Crazy. Yeah, it was 2 years after. Yeah, he was 61. That's right. He was 59 during the filming of Rocky Balboa. Yeah.
Right.
Well, they seem to have some sort of choreography going on there. They're all three. They're doing like the left arm, right arm.
Move,
I thought they were doing the Macarena for a minute, honestly.
Just go up just a little bit there. I just want to see that moving again. Did they rehearse this before they went up there? Like, okay, see, look back and forth.
Before you go this.
Okay, girls, just like we rehearsed. You ready?
Entertainment is so much different than American entertainment. That's like
what I'm wondering. Are they prisoners or were they brought in?
That's a good question.
I think they're both, right?
They look kind of dirty.
They look dead inside, so I'm going to go with the prisoners.
They look dead inside, unlike the the exotic dancers we have here in America.
Right.
We're very lively and animated.
Yeah.
Was that shot up a man's butt there for a reason?
That was a female's butt.
Oh, sorry.
I hope.
See, that's how you can tell that it's too small because you can't tell the difference. If you could, because you just asked if it was a man. That was a female dimorphically.
That was flat ass.
Flat and then hipless.
We've been talking about flat ass. Now we got to see some flat ass.
Was that a Frank Stallone approved butt?
That's a Frank Stallone approved butt.
Okay,
maybe. Yeah. No fat back on that.
There's no fat back on that individual, and there was no cats in the pillowcase or cat.
None at all.
No cats.
Well, a few cats in the pillow.
They're all set up positions in the camp. Check out their watches, synchronicity, and check. So we have a pig eating. Is that one of the dead missionaries? Is that the one they killed? They had 4 to choose.
Yeah, he said take them out to the pigs. Yep. He was sitting up there crying like a bitch, so we killed him.
Oh, wow. That's some sympathy for the dead missionary, Nikki. So, Nikki, do you have any opinions about the missionaries coming in and changing Burma with scriptures and Band-Aids? How did that change the tide of war? Thoughts?
I have to watch what I'm going to say because, like, sometimes... So I have this thing about, like... I know you're both white men, but when white people come in and, like, give brown people religion to try to fix their problems, and it just doesn't... It's like
this
a very...
I don't do it because I don't want to get fed to the pigs. This is why.
Yeah. Smart man. But I just think it's very aggrandizing. I think it's extremely exploitive.
It's been the white way. You're right. From the Spanish Inquisitions, I know they are considered white as far as I'm concerned. But and the missionaries to Africa. This has been the thing. It is. You're right.
Yeah.
That the Western culture, which is based a lot of it in Christianity upbringing, that we go to this. We are this way because we are Christian. Where you should just argue, say, we're this way, not this way, but our country or city or people or community is this way because we just believe in not, raping and murdering, but it has nothing to do with God. You could say, like, hey, why don't we put down our weapons? Let's talk about building schools.
No, you put down your weapons, and then we'll come in and take your shit. And...
I know.
Which is, I am one of those people who, to the victor go the spoils. If you're not strong enough, you're not. So, like, that's just kind of how I view it. I have, even my white friends are like, that's so, and I'm like, well, there's only so many resources. If you go take it, if people can't stop you, it's one thing. So, but like in this case, like they're just exploiting their poverty and ignorance. I mean, and expecting them to think Jesus can fix their issues, and that's not realistic.
Well, it didn't work out for this missionary, anyways. He's pig food right now, literally.
Yep.
Rambo's just happy it's not Sarah.
He has a thunder, yeah.
Don't talk. Where's the girl?
She's over there.
You're tied in. We'll be back for you.
He said, where's the girl?
His fiance, right?
Yeah, their fiance.
Yeah, I don't understand that at all. If I had ended up in her situation and I came to Burma with that man, I would not leave with him. Not after all of this. What are you talking
leave
about?
With Rambo. You got to leave with Rambo.
You stay with Rambo. You can't rip a man's throat out in front of me and me not pledge my whole uterus to you. What are you talking about?
I'd leave with Rambo at that point myself.
Like, what? This man's beta ass.
I know. He said, where's the girl? Did I miss that?
Mm-hmm.
Where's that blonde hair girl that gave me those looks?
He
was pretty good choreography. Oh, he's not happy with it. Yeah, he threw a cigarette at one of the girls. He's not happy with this dance. Probably saw the same dance routine yesterday. They're probably getting tired.
Exactly. He's getting bored.
Give us some new moves. Come on, new moves. Yeah. They're so excited now. Look at us being terrible to the woman. Yay.
There's two of them in the cage near the pigs. Get them.
Got it.
There's two of them in the cage near the pigs. How do you know where the pigs are?
That's a good question.
This is their first time in the camp. The guy's like, but you could argue, well, when they've been walking through, they're so good at their job, they make a mental note of where everything is. But still, I'd be like, I can't see a thing right now. It's raining. It's dark.
It's pitch black out here.
Follow the oinky noises. Hey, look at me, everyone. I'm going to assault them on stage. Isn't this great? They're cheering them on.
That's like the simplest thing that happens to them.
I know. I do like that musical cue that's going on in the background during this mission, right? That you got that drum, that do 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 do. It's just a great subtle. Now, why does he have that chainmail over his head? Is that chainmail? Looks like he's fighting in the
like a knight, right?
It's off.
Looks like chainmail on his head or something.
He doesn't know what year it is.
That's true. He doesn't know what kind of bomb it is. He doesn't know what the proper combat uniform is for this mission.
The hell's the helmet?
Drinks on them now and trying to humiliate them in front of the crowd is what they're doing, right?
Why are they in the cages? They should. It's just such a waste of resources. I mean, not that women are resources, but like, I know it sounds bad.
You wanted more girls dancing up there.
It just doesn't make sense to me. Like, if you have like, this is okay with the Rambo 5 thing. They treat their the prostitutes so badly. Like, why would you? You should keep them groomed.
Oh, I know what you're saying. I think
not use prostitutes, but
from what I can gather from victims of sexual assault, and the ones that are kidnapped and stuff, that the human trafficking, I think it keeps them in control. I think when you degrade them to that point where, because then anything you give them that's remotely not torture or beating up or anything, then it's like, oh, well, I guess I'm just having sex with this guy. So it's almost like, I don't know what the reasons are, but you're right. You think, why wouldn't you want to keep if you want to talk about the women and children, I guess, like stock, like you're saying, like property, why would you want to? Children as well, right?
Yeah,
but it's heartbreaking and horrific. This stuff happens. But you're right. I think what it does, it just keeps them, their morale is never up. Yeah, broken. That's right. They're broken the whole time. Yeah.
It just, to me, it doesn't make sense.
The men that are doing the things to these people, that's part of their pleasure. I don't get it. Like, my brain doesn't function there. Like, in all seriousness, I don't know how that's done. I don't know how you can assault somebody. And the discussion point being, like, I don't know how one gets aroused enough to, like, his
consent is sexy.
Yeah, like, I can't do it with my socks on. Like, I don't know. like you got to set the table, so to speak. And these men who do this, I don't know how I don't know how they are able to get that way when it's so violent and gross. I don't get it. Yeah. All right, so I think the traps are set. The men are in. They're on the move. They're about to get these women out. That is the tour guide dude. I forget his name because he's in his uniform right now, letting these women out.
Yeah, they switched back to him, but the driver was not him.
They should have done a quick little scene of them getting into the truck.
I agree.
It would have taken 6 seconds or 10 seconds. All right, guys, load up the gear. Take what you can from this truck. Tour guide dude, put on their uniform. Let's go. Just done. And then we would have known that's how. Because I'm not an idiot, but it took me a second. Like, whose truck is this? Why are we here? Would have avoided the whole conversation as why in the back of the truck and whose truck it is and who's driving. Yeah. Anyways,
it's like National Geographic. How just one male just takes the female and fights the other males off and runs off.
It's animalistic, absolutely animalistic.
It's very National Geographic. Yeah.
The woman gets thrown into the crowd of men, and the stronger guy grabs her.
The strongest male grabs. Yeah.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
It's like a juxtaposition between evil and more evil, because now we've been talking this whole time about how these men are, now sexually assaulting assaulting the women that were on stage. They're going to be raped. And then this leader guy's walking around the camp kind of casually. He's not participating. Like, we see him not participating. Like, we're thinking,
that might explain why Sarah wasn't touched. It's not his preference.
Good point. Yeah, because Sarah would be his prisoner. You're right. So maybe he has no preference. And what we're referring to, of course, people, is this poor child as a prisoner. And that's what he's interested in. Yeah.
Oh, my God. Yeah.
And unfortunately, this is a reality in the world, folks.
Yeah. Like, wow.
And Rambo sees.
But he wrote that shit. Stallone wrote it.
I just want to go back to Rambo 2. I just want to go back to Rambo 2.
Yeah, right. Let's just go back to Rambo. Maybe back to the electrocution scene. And
I'm coming to get you. Just give me that stuff. I just want that stuff.
This movie is very. Stallone did a great job with it.
Yeah.
It's just.
It goes to those places.
Yeah, it takes.
Can we go back to the feel-good moments of Rambo 3?
Yeah. Dragging the animal carcass around on the horse.
Imagine if that boy was the same boy from Rambo 3, though.
Oh, God.
He'd be like 50 years old now, right?
Yeah, that's true. What's interesting, though, is the Rambo character, of course, he sees this, and he's obviously putting everything together. There's children, prisoners, and they're being abused. And even he's like, puts his head down in disgust, and he's like, oh, I can't believe this is what we're dealing with here in this camp. Because he's seen all the horrors of war, but this is the thing that makes him put his head down in disgust. Like, I don't think we've seen that in any of the other parts of the films where he's really showing any kind of, this is too much. When he sees the child, that's the moment where he's like, I can't. And Alistair does bring up a good point that they amp up the violence and the deplorable behavior essentially to justify the massacre at the end of the film. I think is what it is.
Yeah, the way Stallone kills this man by absolutely cutting him in half is that's violent.
I did make the criticism, and maybe unjustly so, but I think I've made the criticism because the John Rambo cut is the longer cut, and it's actually not a short film, so it actually has a lot more footage. And I think this scene is probably, I would say dragged out more, but I think it's extended a little bit more. We see a little bit more of this infiltration of the enemy camp. And I mentioned in previous criticisms that they should have had a stealthy type mission, hand-to-hand combat, and I think that's what we're getting a little bit here. I think we are seeing the Rambo character with the mercenaries being able to infiltrate the camp and get around and be sneaky and stuff. So that definitely is happening. So I'll give a little bit of credit there that maybe I'd forgotten in my criticism of the film. I had not seen it in a few years, but it still would have been nice to maybe put this at the end. I think they could have almost like flipped this around a little bit, had the massacre. You could have shown us some of this, maybe just have a recon mission and then do another kind of infiltrate the camp, and then have that 50 cal scene when they break in the camp, break the prisoners out, and then have. I kind of wish it ended the film maybe on that big action sequence. That's fine, because maybe it just feels different in this extended cut. Because this movie is feeling different to me than
it feels very different. Yeah. He didn't. Okay, sorry. There's differences. Well, the kid, he like rubs the kid's head and a bunch of other stuff in the other one.
They cut it out for this. Interesting. So they toned that part down for this part. Okay.
They did tone this part.
It's like, we get it. He's a pedophile.
Yeah, we do. He's a pedophile.
Come on. Yes, Sarah? Shut up. Come
on. So now we've cut to the guy that took away one of the dancers. They're out in the rain. He's just slapped her. So we're seeing this sequence kind of play out this is what he wanted to do to her alone.
Outside.
And Jew's got a hold of her saying, be quiet, I got you. Underneath the building.
Oh, yeah, they cut that out too. He stabbed him like 5 times in the other
really?
one. Mm-hmm.
Well, that's interesting. So the John Rambo cut has a little bit less stabbing, so to speak, on that scene.
Yeah.
So for our listeners, of course, the guy that was going to rape that woman got his neck stabbed through by Enju. Good job, Enju. Rambo sees Tara. Here we go. I remember seeing this in the theaters and the crowd being very excited by those 3 kills. I don't know why, but I seem to recall some sort of like the tent has been broken because now Schoolboy gets to use his big sniper rifle. We get to see the power of this weapon and the effectiveness that he has in shooting these people with that weapon. Good silent kills though by it. Okay. So we're going to stop it here though. I know it's a long sequence and I don't want to obviously drag it out, but also I don't want to rush it either. So we'll kind of stop at mid breakout sequence. Okay, what did you think there, Nikki, for your second time on the Rambo podcast?
I loved it. I love Rambo, so I love talking about it. And not everybody likes to just talk about Stallone. So,
well, we got 3 of us here, anyways, that love doing it. We love having you on. You were, as always, you're a great guest, and
thank you.
I know this is your favorite film of the Rambo franchise, isn't that right?
It's my favorite.
Yeah.
Oh, this is cool.
You seem to know more about the original than we do. You're a great guest with your insight and knowledge, and especially regarding the original film. I think Dom and we freely and admittedly admitted that I don't recall the first film enough to say that was or wasn't in that. So we appreciate your insight on that.
Sure.
Yeah, if you want to listen to me, I was on Nikki's podcast, like she mentioned at the beginning of the episode. I was on an episode. Just Google Beat the Cult podcast. It's on YouTube. Yeah. It's a YouTube exclusive podcast. Beat the Cult. You could do Beat the Cult, Ryan Rebalkin, and I'll come up. It was fun. So basically, speak for myself, because I used to be very religious. My whole life and lifestyle, my decisions were based on my religion. I think for me, what I discovered by leaving religion, not leaving spirituality or not leaving goodness or whatever you think comes from religion, I've got to discover who I am. And I think that's one of the biggest things is I didn't know who I was outside of a curriculum or a set of beliefs that was instilled upon me, that I didn't know who Ryan was outside of that. That's kind of what I appreciate. And I don't live in a world of shame or guilt anymore either, which I think is very harmful.
Excellent.
I make mistakes and I feel bad about my mistakes and I want to rectify my life for my wife and for my kids. But that's the thing. I do it for them. I do it for myself. And I don't do it for any grand reward or fear of punishment. I just do it because I think you should try to be a good person, because the world's a better place because of it.
I agree.
If you're fighting that fight, then I agree with it. And that's what I talk about on that episode. So take a listen. I think it's good. And you get to know a little bit more about me as Ryan, as a person, if you want to hear about who I am. If you're interested, so again, Beat the Cult, Ryan Rebalkin, I come up and I'll be able to actually tag the episode too in our show notes. So people can find that. And if they want to know more about me, Dom will be the next guest.
Oh yeah, always. When I get everything back up and running, I said I wanted to have you on again, and I need to get everything back up and running. It's been so crazy.
Oh, I know. Life can be that way.
Life gets in the way sometimes.
Life is lifing.
Anything else you wanted to share before we leave? Where the people can find you, Nikki?
Yeah, you guys can find me on Twitter, Beat the Cult, YouTube, Beat the Cult. Things are a little slow right now, but still give it a follow. I do have an Instagram as well. I just don't use it. Also under Beat the Cult as well. And things will be picking up here in the next few months, ideally. And I just want to thank you guys for having me back on.
Our pleasure.
Especially for Rambo 4.
Yeah.
Best one.
All right. Well, with that, this episode is over.
Nothing is over. Nothing. You just don't turn it off. It wasn't my podcast. You asked me to co-host. I didn't ask you.